everyone, it's Sian here from Horsey Sian channel. Hope everyone's well. Are you all okay? It's still 2020, still crazy, but don't worry, we'll get there in the end. It's all gonna get better, it'll be fine. But it's summer. Today is August the 3rd and it's the middle of summer here in England. And I just wanted to make a video today about sweet itch. Now this is something that I've had to deal with for the last 32 years. I'm going to talk to you a bit about what it is, how to treat it and how to deal with it mentally and emotionally. It can be tricky, and just my opinion. If anybody's got another opinion, if you've got any tricks or up your sleeve that how you deal with it, please do put a comment. And if you think I've left anything out and I might know something and you want to ask a question, just go ahead, fire away, leave me a comment. So we'll get on with it, and hopefully you'll be able to hopefully you'll leave this video feeling a bit better about it. All right, here goes. So like I say, I've had the pleasure of dealing with sweet itch every summer for the last 32 years. The first horse that I had who had it was my mare, Aveline. She got it when she was about 4 months old and she died when she was 29. So every summer, yep. It's horrible, but she had it really badly. And I believe, in my experience anyway, that horses get it to varying degrees. She got it really badly and she was such a drama queen. One fly in February, that's it, meltdown. So, but I tried everything with her, everything. If anybody comes up to me now and says, oh, have you tried this for sweet itch? Yes, I have. And it doesn't mean to say that it didn't work, it just means to say it didn't work for the horse that I tried it on. So, what is it basically? Sweet itch. I know it's called different things in different countries. I used to know what it was called in Australia and I can't remember. It slipped my mind, but it's sweet itch over here, and it is the coolicoid midge, and it's the female. Apparently, when she's hatched her eggs, she needs a blood meal, so she'll bite a host. Doesn't have to be a horse, it can be us or anybody. She'll bite the horse. So usually, apparently, it's just harmless saliva that is injected in. She takes the blood out, but she leaves harmless saliva behind. So normally when we get a fly bite, our bodies, our immune system goes and sorts out what it is, and it might itch a bit, but it's nothing, is it? Sometimes they really itch, but it's nothing. But with horses, with sweet itch, they have an overreactive immune system. So their immune system attacks where the bite is and it becomes super itchy. I'm talking about itchy and I'm itching everywhere now. It becomes super itchy, and you'll probably, if you've seen a horse with sweet itch, the classic thing is they rub all the tail, they rub all the hair off the tail, around the top of the tail and their manes, and the skin then can become quite thick and crusty. Also, as a secondary, the bite, because they've rubbed it, perhaps they've rubbed it on a gate post or on a tree or something like that, then you can get a secondary infection, which doesn't help at all. So there are a number of places that have done a lot of research into this, and the one place that I looked at online was the Sweet Itch Centre. So that's I think it's sweetitch.co.uk, and they've done quite a lot of research, and it's really handy if you want to go on Google to exactly what it is, and treatments that they suggest, and also when you're likely to come across it. Now, I don't know about other countries, but in this country, in England, I've found that you can come across it in February and late October, but sometimes it doesn't start until May. But most of the time it will carry on. We tend to have quite mild autumns. So unless we have mild and very windy autumns, then the horses do seem to have a bit of a second phase of it. Although I have admitted to myself that by the time it comes to September and October, I'm so fed up that my regime might slacken a bit. So that's another thing, which we'll go into later, the treatment and what you need to do. So that's what it is. It's the coolicoid midge. And there is another, something like a humpback fly or something like that, which the Sweet Itch Centre say to a lesser degree is a bit of a culprit, and they tend to go for the ears rather than anything else, and the coolicoid midge will go for the body. Another classic is under the tummy as well, and around the sheath or the udder, the thin fine skin that they can get through. So that's what it is, and that's what it looks like. That's what it sort of like manifests as. Basically, your horse doesn't just, people say, do you think this is, to me, do you think this is Sweet Itch? And the horse has just rubbed a little bit of mane. No, that's not, because if there is a fly about, then the horse will be absolutely, well, on a varying degrees of slightly traumatised to massively traumatised by the midges. They know what's coming, and it's, you know, something that they're reactive to. So that's what it is. Okay, so next we're going to talk about how we deal with it as a person, as well as how the horse deals with it. Okay. So once you realise that your horse has got Sweet Itch, what do you do? Well, first of all, it depends. Some people can't cope with it. Some people don't want to cope with it. They just want the horse to go, and I want a horse that hasn't got Sweet Itch. Other people like me, whose horses are part of the family, and you wouldn't, you know, moving them on, selling them on is just out of the question. You've got to learn to deal with it. So it can be quite, knowing that your summer is basically going to be a battle against midge bites. I'm just going to go and sort rip out. Back. And we're back. I don't know what was up with the little Rip. He was barking at the horses or something. I've no idea. Thought he was shutting the stable, but he wasn't. Anyway, he won't cooperate. I was wanting to bring him in, but he won't. So leave him to it. Right, so your frame of mind. So you bought this horse, perhaps in spring, because you want to spend a lovely summer. And then all of a sudden, about 2 weeks into it, your horse starts rubbing. And you think, oh, it's just the winter coat's coming out. All horses rub, and then they keep rubbing, and then they keep rubbing, and then before you know it, the tail looks like a loo brush, and you realise that you've got a horse with Sweet Itch. So what can you do? Well, unfortunately, by the time you've got to that stage, it's a bit trickier, because they have to get out of that stage into, which is more of a therapeutic treatment, into a preventative treatment, which is always the best thing. So the frame of mind that you have to be in every year is get on top of it and keep on top of it. That's the best thing you can do. So if you've gone down, if you're at these late stages where they've already done a lot of rubbing, it's not the end of the world, but it's a bit harder. So you might have to be a bit more of a regime of keeping, I don't know how to say that, but a bit more of a stricter regime than the one that I've got. But if you can, at the beginning of the year, keep on top of it, and you should be able to do a bit less. But the main frame of mind is that you have to do it every day. You can't have a day off. Even sometimes I think, well, it's cool and it's breezy, and I haven't seen a midge today. No, especially in the climate we have, it can be like the sun is out today, but an hour from now it could be overcast and wet. So you've got to stick to your routine. Get your routine and stick to it. And it's the only way that you're going to know if it works as well, by sticking to it. Also, having said that, be adaptable. If you think it's not working, somebody suggests something, or you see something, or you think, oh, wonder if that might work, try it. Okay. So your frame of mind. So that's, if you are wanting to keep your horse and do the best for your horse and help with this, it's not out of the question, and you can still do everything that you want to do. It's not that you can't ride. At the beginning with Aveline, there were summers when I couldn't ride. I had to admit to myself that no, this is like 12 weeks where I won't be able to do anything but treatments, and especially the main your main armour in the fight against this is the coats that we have now, which I'm going to go into next. Okay, so you realise your horse has got sweet itch, whether it's already quite advanced, you know, that they've rubbed a lot, or you've picked up on it and you think, ooh, this might be the case, I need to get on top of it. Or you know your horse has got sweet itch and it's the beginning of the season. The number one thing that you need to get is a coat. Now, I have, for Aveline, who had sweet itch really quite badly, I used to use the Bowick blanket and the Snuggie hood, and both of them are absolutely fantastic. They're just shaped to the horse shape, aren't they? And she would have a hood on, and she would basically wear it 24/7, which is what the others do really, but she would wear it even when I rode her, so you can ride in those as well. And they were really good, really, really good. What I've done now, because Dylan and Chief are not as severe cases, I've actually just gone on to using fly sheets. They're basically fly sheets. Some of them are sold as and advertised as sweet itch sheets, but you can just use them as fly sheets. That's basically what they are. The only thing I would say is that some fly sheets don't have the covering. They don't have the full belly wrap, and they perhaps don't have the full neck wrap. So I'll show you Chief and Dylan's coats. They're two slightly different ones, but they both have, the main thing is the full belly wrap. They don't, neither of them have fly masks. I'm not a massive fan of a fly mask. I've seen some new ones where the netting is away from the eyes a lot more. That's what I didn't used to like, especially when they rub with the netting. They just used to rub all the skin away from their eyes, and then it would, the netting would become quite dirty, and then the eyes could get a bit weepy. So I didn't use, I just thought it was easier not to have the fly masks on. But they are good if it's all right for you. It's worth a try. So that's I'll show you the coats, and I'll try and find out what make they are. I think I might have washed the names off, but I'll try. So that's the main thing, a coat. So what about the products that we use? Well, that I use for sweet itch. I use this year, and I emphasise this year, because last year I didn't, and the year before I used something else, and it's just never ending adapting and trying different things. And this obviously, of course, is dependent on your wallet, how much money you have. You know, some things cost a lot more than others, which are perhaps not specifically horsey, just over-the-counter lotions and things like that. But just try what you think, and just keep going with it until you see results. If you don't see results, you know, either way, because it can be a good result or a bad result. If you don't see results, try something else. Okay, but the main thing is your horse with sweet itch, in my opinion, has already got sensitive skin. It's already sensitive. So with Aveline, when she was young, this is decades ago, this is in the 90s, a lot of people used a thing which you could get from the pharmacy, which was called benzoyl benzoate, and I'm not even sure if you can get it anymore. I can't even remember what it was for. It's for people, but they had really good results with it. So that was the first thing I went to for Aveline, but it reacted with her skin, and her skin flaked off, and it went really hot. It wasn't good, so I stopped using that. And then another good one is citronella. Again, I tried it on Aveline, didn't work. She overreacted to the citronella worse than she did to the midge bites. So I think you have to find the thing that suits your horse as well, but also err on the side of being gentle, you know, like a gentle thing. Like I was using, up until a month or so ago, I was using Johnson's baby lotion, which was really good. But then because of all the shortages in the supermarket, they didn't have any, so I had to look for something else, which has turned out to be really good because that's working really well. I think it's slightly more economical. So I'll just show you what I use, okay? This is my little tray that I use every day. So the main lotion that I use is E45. And I have it in the plunger because it's easier. And it's a lotion. So it's not sticky and it absorbs into the skin straight away. There's no perfume in it. And although, bizarrely, I can't use this because it doesn't agree with my skin, it seems to be doing really well with the horses. And I'll show you what I do with Chief. Chief's rubbed his face. Luckily it doesn't look too bad because he's got the same colour skin as his hair. So it doesn't look too bad, but when you look close, he's rubbed his face. And especially the soft skin around the eyes and the muscle. That seems to be a place that suffers quite a lot. So this just goes, it rubs on. You don't have to think about spreading it, which is what you would do with this, which of course everybody knows Sudocrem is fantastic for infections. So say one of them had cut, Chief cuts his legs, I'll show you that as well. He cuts his legs sometimes, so I would put Sudocrem on, but only in a little blob. I used to put this on all over his face, and it's white, so it looks weird, whereas the E45 just soaks in, so it does look a bit weird. But it's really thick and it's quite sticky, so you'd get it all over his bridle and his halter and everything would be sticky. It does work, but the only thing is if they rub their faces quite a lot and it gets in their eyes, it can react. So this, I found this, because it sinks in straight away, if they rub their faces, it doesn't rub around, if you get what I mean. Okay, because this is, it's what is it, February till October? It's nine months. It's a good part of the year, so it's you know, it's a good, you want to try to be economic. Well, I do anyway. I have to be. Right, and then this is a massive, shameless, absolute huge plug for this product. It's from a company that's just up the road from us. It's stinky stuff. It's all natural. I'll tell you, flaxseed oil, neem plant and coconut oil. There's nothing chemical in there at all. Soothes and protects, and it does, but it does say on here if they have any open wounds that it could irritate, so just bear that in mind. So you mix that with the carrier oil. So you mix the stinky stuff with the carrier oil, mix it together. You do a little bit for each, well, for each day really. I mix up a little bit for each day. And then on top of that, they do a shampoo base. Now I don't bath the horses. I don't bath them anyway. I like to keep all the oils in there. I'd much rather brush them, and even then I don't brush them a lot. But I like them to keep their normal, their natural oils in. But this you can use as a fly repellent. So you put same part of the shampoo base with the original stinky, which is, so it's the equal parts that, and then add, it says lukewarm water. So I usually put a little bit of warm water out of the kettle, and then you can use it as a spray. And I found that to be really good. Okay, I'm going to make some stinky stuff up now. This is the original. This is my little container that I make it up into. So you can see it melts. It's quite warm today. It's not totally melted, but that's in its solidy form, and that's in its melted form. So I just put a teaspoon of that in there, and a teaspoon of the oil in as well. Really, really simple. Just get the lid, put it on, give it a shake, and it's made up. You don't need a lot. Okay, may I introduce you to my glamorous assistant, Chief. So this is Chief's coat. I don't know if you can see down here, Chief's nose. It's a Highlander. And the main thing that we've got is, it goes around the ears. I always think it looks like something out of The Handmaid's Tale when he's got that on. Full neck, really generous, so when they put their heads down to eat grass, there's no pulling back here. Then the tummy, as you can see, goes more or less just behind the front legs and goes all the way back to the sheath. And then we have a full tail, which is long. So it's this is a really good coat. I'll just go on and show you Dylan's, which is slightly different. Little rip, noisy. Dylan, let's have a look at your coat. What's this called? We're not sure, are we? I think this is a master, something like that. So, right, first of all, we haven't got the ear loops, but as you can see, it does go up. It's not quite as generous in the neck. However, Dylan's got a very short neck. So, but it does come right up here. This is a bit big, on the big side for him, because it was Chief's coat. And as you can see, it's on, it's a bit baggy under here, mainly because he's lost weight as well. See, I've had to stitch this up. That's my absolute rubbish attempt at stitching. There's another one there. And the tail's not quite as generous. Shush, shush. Little Rip, so noisy. Little Rip, shush, shush. But look at Dylan's tail. That all the grey is historical evidence of rubbing. I don't know if I can show you his tummy. Can I show you his tummy? Can you see under there? Oh, yep, you can see, can't you? All that's historical evidence of rubbing his tummy. So all I do is get about 4 plunges, like that word plunge, and put Rip, shh, Rip, quiet, it's quiet time. I wouldn't have made a good nurse because I'm really clumsy. My mum was a nurse, it didn't rub off. Then his ears, he's a bit tender on his ears. Either that or he's just fed up. I think he's a bit, it feels a bit tender. Feels a few bites in there. And also in his ears. There you go. Oh, I can feel there are some bites in there, definitely. There you go. He's a good boy. Right, so that's one side. So you can just literally get it on every bit. I'm going to put some more down the front of his face. But it's so easy. It covers so much area that you can just smooth it everywhere. It's such a good boy. What he does, he rubs his legs with his teeth because they itch so much. So all I'm doing, putting the cream on here really, I don't know if you can see there as well, is just to try and relieve the itching, really. So I put them on his front and back legs. The next and the last place that I'm going to put it is actually on his sheath. Now, it never bothers if I have to do anything else, but putting this on every day, he's got a bit fed up with it. So I have a secret weapon, which is a carrot. So we'll just see what he does. Usually he has a bit of a grump, but if he sees this, it might just stop him. in mid-grump. So I rub it on his sheath and then also just on the hair in front, you know, where the umbilical cord was, because that's when they lay on the floor. You'll have seen them doing it with their, like a dog, and then start rubbing their tummies. That's where they rub. That's where Dylan's also got some historical rubs. Dylan actually with this only has his sheath done. He doesn't have his legs done. He's got huge feathers. I don't know if you can just see those, which seem to keep the flies away, keep the midges from biting. It's got a massive mane, really thick mane and really thick tail. So all we'll do with Dylan is put some on his sheath and then put the stinky stuff on his tail. Now we've got the stinky stuff that I've made up, and it does say wear gloves, but I don't know if you've noticed my hands have seen a lot, so I don't bother really. So I just get a little bit on my hands, rub them together, and literally, that's all you do. On the tail. Oh, actually, Dylan has this on his ears and his forelock as well, and a bit on his mane. There's one thing I did forget to mention, and that's because it is all natural, they like to eat this. So if you leave the tub anywhere, Dylan will be in it. Won't you, Dylan? So I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope it helped. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you've got any other ideas that you think might be helpful to me. I always want to hear of what people are doing to help with the sweet itch. One thing I did forget to mention is mine come in, they've got you might have noticed the overhanging bit, so they come in just after 6 every morning and they stay in until about 6 at night, and then they go out in the field. But that isn't necessarily because of the sweet itch, that's more to do with the weight, their weight, Dylan and Chief's weight. Tiny's a bit different. He comes in and he eats. So, but that's a different video, and we'll go through that because we've had quite a year with Dylan and Chief with their weight. And another last thing, fly spray, just general fly spray. Any fly spray, absolutely any. But my handy thing, which I only saw on the internet at the weekend, somebody had put on, was to use one of these, and it's a washing pan scrub thing where you put the washing up liquid in the tube and do your pots, but you put your fly spray in the tube and you can just wipe it on the horses, and it's fantastic. Why it's so simple, but it works really well, really well. So that's it. So I hope you really liked the video. Please let me know what you think. Please like and share and subscribe, and we're going to make some more videos, all sorts of different things, all about our horsey life here in Yorkshire. Okay, bye for now.